and welcome to another episode of Dating Chronicles with Katrina. Today, I've decided to bring my dream team together and talk about image, exercise, and wellness. Most of you might not know that I have actually been in the anti-aging industry for the last 25 years, and it's something that remains close to my heart. So today, I've brought along my good friends, Fadi Chedi, who is an expert hairdresser and stylist, Katrina Farid, who is an amazing professional. She's always been in exercise and wellness and knows a lot about hormones in aging women. And Rashid Khan, who is a fitness model and professional bodybuilder. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Fadi, let's start with you.
As you said, I'm a stylist. I'm your stylist as well. We've been working together. We did some picture together. We built up a nice relationship. Like whenever I'm with you, it's like we get the best out of it. And you've seen result and how it affects you in a sense of less. We're talking image, how much it affects your image, and because it basically affects our self-esteem, our self-confidence when we see our image.
Amazing, yes. I mean, we've done, I think, 3 shoots together now. And I mean, the last shoot was by far my favorite. It was amazing. We got some amazing pictures. And we'll talk more about that later. Catherine.
Okay, well, I've been in the health and fitness and wellness industry for like 30 years now. Background was a dancer and then went into group fitness and personal trainer. I've lived here almost 30 years in the UAE, and I currently run the Register of Exercise Professionals, which we regulate the fitness industry. But I have a passion, obviously, as you know, for health and wellness, longevity, aging well. So I've kind of been doing implementing all of these different modalities to sort of ensure that I'm aging as best I can.
Excellent. And Rashid?
Well, my experience lasts about 12 years, similar industry. And so I started off in personal training and then graduated from personal training into management. And then I pursued a passion for bodybuilding, and that took me around the world. So I competed in UK, in Australia, in the States, and won my pro card and my professional status last year. So that's brought me to this point where I've moved to the UAE and making inroads over here now.
Amazing. So why is image so important to us? And why, relating to relationship, we all want to look our best. You're also a hairstylist, Fadi. How does hair impact a woman?
Well, first of all, when you talk about hair, you have to talk women and men, not only women. Second, as I told you, the benefits of it, when you look at your image, it's so much to do with your self-esteem, with your self-confidence, with exploring so many things about you which you don't know. You're a coach. People come to you to talk about their inner, about their subconscious mind. We talk about the image, which is very important, and we reveal the image as in we are your mirror. And of course, we freeze it in a picture. That people, when they see themselves, the benefits of it, they get out of it. It become very conscious, and they see what they want to reveal, how they want to improve it. Why it's becoming so important? Because because of the social media, because of the advance of technology, of the camera, people communicate more with image nowadays. People build up stories around your image rather than what you say. And we become so important in that we have a role, and since long time we had a role because we have a good relationship with men and women because hair is very important. I consider it as an organ for people, and for men it represents the masculinity, something very masculine. When you start losing your hair, it's very related. For women, it's so much of a seduction. So it's for both. It's very important, and at the end, it's all about the image that you want to project. And this is where image is very important. And it's becoming more and more important nowadays.
I have to say that when we do the photo shoots together, I remember, you also do the makeup, the hair, the pictures, the editing, you do everything, the styling, and you are a complete natural at it. And, when you were doing my makeup, you said, I've got this lipstick. You're like, no, just the lip gloss. The lip gloss is fine. And I'm like, no, that's not going to be enough. And it actually was perfect. So I have to say, you really do know what you're doing.
It's not about knowing as well. Everybody has a point of view. If you change a stylist, he will see you in a different way. So I would like to, people, when they come to me, I like them to venture, to explore something new about their personality, about their age, where they are standing vis-a-vis of their image. And I would like to, first of all, whatever I feel, I would like to project. And of course, after building a good relationship, the first photo session is not like the third one. And as I told you, it's a relationship, like any relationship. With time and trust, you can build up and improve together. And I think from the first to the third one, we explore so many things with you. And you've heard so many compliments. And I've heard of echoes from your friend that they're saying, Katrina is very happy and she likes what we did. And that's very, very important to me.
Great. Catherine, you know, you've been a wellness professional for many years. What do you think is the most important thing for you that's kept you well and fit to this point in your life?
A couple of things. I think, obviously, exercising. I've always exercised, and I think it's really important. And especially as we age, you know, I think everyone's hearing it a lot these days, is strength training is so important. I mean, after the age of 30, we lose 2% of our muscle mass every year. So you can imagine if after 30, you're not lifting weights, how are you going to look and feel when you're hitting 50? So strength training, number one. The other things I've done is implementing testing. So blood testing. I think you need to start that at 40. So don't wait to feel, not feel well. I think it's important to act on prevention and do all of these full blood work panel testing to just keep an eye on what's going on and just keeping everything in balance. Because being in balance is what's important to sort of, age well, cognitive function, just the way we feel, the way we move is so important.
Yeah. I mean, as we're going through the menopause, perimenopause, I find that no matter how much exercise you do, it doesn't matter. So I think that's a really valid point. You have to find the balance. You have to know where you are with your blood work.
Absolutely.
And I know that you've done that from a very early age. And it shows, I mean, you are the absolute epitome of health and wellness. So well done you. I've always had a lot of respect for you.
Thanks.
Rashid, what about, with men? How does it impact men's mental health, the fitness and exercise world, would you say?
I think on a holistic level, if you're actually looking inwards at your biochemistry, you're correcting a lot of things that are out of place. So in terms of the outward world of where you have work stresses, relationship stresses, everything is stimulating. And so men don't really have an outlet. So you have the rise of stoicism that's going on at the moment. You have the rise of men being a lot more inward with their thoughts. They need an outlet and they need something to be able to correct the amount of adrenaline and electrical overload that's going on in the brain. And what better way to do it than strength training and training in general, And so it's like going for a massage and you have a tension spot, and your therapist will hold on to that point until the tension relieves. The same thing goes on with your brain as well, especially as a man, because we've got multiple different things and we're constantly in fight or flight mode, constantly. We're very rarely in feed and breed mode, yeah? So our predisposition is, what must I do in order to get whatever I have in my brain out? So although there's a rise of people talking about your feelings, I think it's very important to be able to articulate your feelings, yes. Especially as a man, and being able to use your words very, very in a very calculated, measured fashion. But I think it's super important to also be competent on a physiological level to demonstrate competence. And competency for a man is them tantamount to them being useful. I think these days men feel very, very useless. So the gym these days is a way to reinforce on a foundational level and bring back competency, and from competency, confidence.
Great. I mean, I've just come back off a tantric retreat in Bali, and it was a week of really healing and understanding self-love and love for another, and more on a soul level. And there was 20 men, 20 women. And we did one exercise where we were in pairs, a man and a woman, and I had to embody all the women that had ever hurt him. And he just looks at me and he starts talking about his mother, his girlfriend, his ex-wife, whoever it was, and just spewing out what he always wanted to say, his anger, his sadness. And it really impacted me because men are not allowed to express their feelings. You've been dumbed down since the day you were born. Stand up, be the strong person. You're not allowed to show your feelings. You can't cry. And, you know, there's a lot of stress on men to bring everything to the table and just shut up and put up kind of thing. So to see a room full of men that were crying and screaming and raging from the depths of their soul was really impactful for me. And I think there has to be more outlets for men to be able to express themselves. And I'm a great advocate for men in that respect.
I think it's really important that we kind of like look at who we're expressing ourselves to. And I think that's a really, really, really important thing. Like, I'm a big advocate of you need to have a very strong male circle. I mean, yes. I'm not too sure where Fadi you stand on this one, but if I've got like something in the basement, I need to be able to go to somebody who can really relate to that, because men and women are not the same. We do not experience things
Absolutely,
the same way.
I agree with that.
You know, it's different for me to be able to, and here's the funny thing, me being able to express myself right now and the truth is actually a weird thing happened with my skin just now. It kind of felt like steam just came out.
No, actually, I tell you something, because I hear I'm in the salon and people talks, and I think that, and so many times people, they say, why women talks? Apparently they think while they're talking. So that makes it easier for them, though there is so much pressure on women and on men, on our upbringing, whether they put the figure they draw for us as a man and the pressure they put on a girl to prepare her for marriage only. Both of them have conflicts to sort out, and Katrina, I think she's in this field and she knows about it. But I think both talks, but in a different way. And I think women talks because while they're thinking, they think while they're talking. You feel
well, women are emotional, so they express themselves.
Everybody's emotional. I don't agree with that. Everybody's emotional. It depends how you deliver it. Everybody is emotional.
Yeah.
Yes, but
we always like to portray women on the side and men are on the side. We're all the same. I believe all the same. There is some tempo and there are some circumstances. That's it. And there are some judgment, as you say, in our upbringing. But we all the same.
No, I mean, to degrees, yeah.
To degrees, it's a delivery, but we are emotional.
But biologically, I think biologically is very, very important to highlight the biology here. And why are we going against a biological norm? I have no idea. On a foundational level, women are emotional creatures because you have more estrogen than men and more chemical imbalances throughout the month. And that is completely understandable. That's what your biological predisposition is. As a man, that person needs to have the foresight and the understanding of that on a foundational level. You know? And I think these days, men are especially very, very tactless, possibly because of the amount of pressure that's gone with the advancement of technology and dating and mating selection these days for them to prove themselves and get very impatient. And so what happens? They become emotional and there's an outburst where they start to treat women tactlessly. Yeah? What, you on your period? Or something like that? Yeah. You wouldn't hear that in the past, really.
Condescending in a way.
Exactly. And you're just adding fuel to the fire here.
We probably have more stable biology. You're right. That's
so as a man, for us, feelings aren't really a factor. We have to do what we have to do, irregardless of feelings, to fulfill our biological norm, which is...
But that's the inner of a man. There's nothing wrong about it. But I insist that it's a tempo. Everybody is emotional. Everybody can box his emotion in a different way and deliver his emotion in a different way.
And they're different. Sorry, but men are different. You might meet one man that's more emotional than another. It's like women are all different. You know, I do think that men, you can't sort of typecast and say they're all the same.
No, but I think there is a distinct difference between the male and the female. We are different.
100%. 100%.
I mean, I was doing a talk last night to the Dubai Social League on the masculine feminine energy and how, you know, you have the men and a woman, but within each of us is the male-female energy. The masculine is what gets you up, gets you going in the morning, gets you moving. It's the all-doing energy. And the feminine is the all-receiving energy, the nurturer, the giver, the loving kindness. And I think nowadays, women have become too masculine in their approach. And this is why there's so many single people.
I agree.
Because men don't know what women want anymore, and women are starting to compete with men, not only in the workplace, but at home, and that is never going to work. You've got two men at home, it creates war. So I think we have to go back to basics and remember who we are intrinsically. And, you know, with a man, you've got to let him be a man, be the alpha male, and the woman has to be there to support him in his building of his empire.
Has anyone watched that movie 300? 300?
No.
No, I've heard of it.
I was forced to watch it.
Right, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's very gruesome, but here's the interesting part. A messenger comes from Persia, and this actually happened. A messenger came from Persia over to the Spartans, the alpha males of their time. Yeah, they were built for war. Every single boy came of age, and they were selected based on whether they can actually withstand weather conditions when they were babies. The ones who couldn't stand weather conditions died. It was literally survival of the fittest.
Oh.
Yeah, and that wasn't too long ago. If you actually put a comparative to the entire period of time that humans have been on this earth, not long ago. You speak about the Spartans; they were 1,000 years ago, probably a little bit more. Yeah. Now, what happened was that every single child went into military camp, okay? And they had a commanding officer who oversaw them. Now, the Persians had heard about this, okay? It started with Darius, then it moved over to Xerxes. Xerxes took over from Darius and wanted to conquer Greece. He started first with the north, and he went down to the south with Sparta, okay? And he knew that the Spartans were barbarians. The message says we want earth and water as a demonstration of submission. Leonidas, who was the king, one of the two kings at the time, looks at the Spartan, the Persian messenger, and says earth and water. Turns back, there's a scene in Zack Snyder's movie. He looks back at Queen Gorgo, his wife, and she does this. And he turns around and kicks the messenger down the well. That is the epitome of what it is to have a strong male and female relationship.
Amazing.
Whether the man did it, but the woman went, I acknowledge it.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate act of support. The ultimate acknowledgement of, yes, we are here to protect our own. You are going to do right by us. I agree with you.
That's
Boom.
a great example. Thank you. Amazing. Yeah, and I think this is what's happened in today's society. It's like, as the woman becomes stronger, the men become weaker. And I think we have to correct that, you know, because...
Well, I don't... What do you mean by stronger? Stronger having like...
Because women...
Going to different fields, working like a man.
Yeah, they're
making money like a
women.
man. I don't... It's a lie. It's evolution. They have to accept. It's not like we have to resist and say, no, she should be like feminine, waiting for him, cooking for...
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is know your place. You can go to... I mean, I'm the biggest male energy. You go to, and you do your work, you be the boss woman at work, but you come home, you hang your balls on the door, and you go in and you become the woman again. Because you need that polarity in order to have a successful relationship.
There's balance and counterbalance.
Yes.
Exactly.
It will happen, I believe. It's a balance, but I think women are really taking so much place, which they should long time ago. And it's a natural evolution. We shouldn't stop it. Like, things will go the way it should go. Now they will probably they will go back. They will know what they were saying, but this is their way of doing it. They're gaining so much place, better than before. Much better salary, more power, more impact in their life. They choose whatever they want, which is a plus. I don't see it as a negative point.
No, I don't know. But what I'm saying is you need to know when to step back into your feminine energy.
Yeah, probably.
You cannot be the boss at home or in a partnership. It's never going to work. It's just never going to work. It's not how we were built as a man and as a woman. So, moving on. Let's talk about exercise. Catherine, for women, what would you say are the most important exercises that women should do? Covering weight training, yoga, Pilates, running.
Again, it depends on the age.
Okay.
Right. So like running, for example, I'd say running is a great exercise. And if you love it, do it. But if we're talking about aging well and taking care of our joints, I personally don't think you need to run. I don't run anymore. Maybe you could do interval where you do short bursts of running, but I personally wouldn't.
I agree.
Yeah, wouldn't recommend. Strength training, I think every woman should do. Absolutely every woman. Whether I know some people don't like to get into the gym, but try and find ways. I mean, there's so many other kind of types of boot camp classes and things like that that could probably get you lifting weights. But it really is important for us as we age. I mean, just got to do it. And then, of course, yoga. You know, these all complement one another. Yoga, Pilates, all of these have their benefits as well as far as, mobility, flexibility. That's also important because we lose that as we age. So again, it's about balance. So I try and do as much as I can. I'm personally a gym bunny myself. I love the gym, addicted. But I do understand the importance of all the other elements of exercise as well.
Actually, on that subject, speaking as a man appreciates that. It really appreciates that, because you are literally trying to work on your physical beauty, and that is pleasurable to me,
I mean, men are very visual creatures.
We're purely visual creatures, we mate based on physical beauty.
True.
Yeah. And I think that's a great thing. Yeah. I think more power to you. I believe every single woman and every single man should be in the gym working on themselves.
I mean, I've had friends in the past. I mean, none of my friends exercise as much as I do. And I've had from friends in the past that have been very overweight, and they try and put me down, say, oh, you're going to the gym again, you go too much to the gym. And it's like, no, this is why I look the way you do and you look the way you do.
Is that age or that age?
Do not tell me that, because, and it's like people say, oh, it's so vain, you're so vain. No. How you look, how you present yourself to the world shows people how much you respect yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people see it in a very selfish way. You want to stop smoking, or you'll survive and we will die. It's the same formula. But as well as there are some people who are addicted as well, and some addicted to the gym and to beauty and things.
But
I think they go far.
It's better to be addicted to the gym than addicted to drugs or smoking or alcohol.
I think we have to understand exactly what it means.
Yeah, but you always hear the same thing, like why you go often to the gym, why you go off, you take care of yourself so much, why you watch your diet, and you hear it a lot from so many.
I think like addiction is like one of those things where they're like, I'd much rather be addicted to that than going out and drinking and poisoning myself,
Exactly.
And smoking and killing myself.
Everybody's addicted on some level or another.
I'd much rather be addicted to going to the gym than being on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even though ironically this is why we're here, because it's how you use it, and exactly that comes with going to the gym. For me, is let's reverse engineer it. What can I garner from a person who goes to the gym regularly? Number one, you're hardworking. Number two, you're consistent.
No, but if you do a lot as well, if it's an addiction, anything is an addiction. It shows that you have something that's not going well, like it's an emotional void or something. So any addiction is not good.
Like, for example, let's put it this way.
Whether it's gym or coffee, anything. I don't agree with that.
Let's put it this way. Yeah, let's put it this way. Is that like I go to the gym religiously every single day. Yeah, because it's no longer my profession. My girlfriend turned around to me and said to me, what does it mean for you to be a bodybuilder? Why are you bodybuilding?
Good question.
Why are you bodybuilding? I don't have a huge amount of interest in social media. Ironically, most of the bodybuilders you will come across and the fitness people that you will come across, will be very, very social media orientated. Yeah. So I understand how the addiction can be to present and market themselves a particular way for dating and mating strategies, because that's what you are. You're a walking billboard. What I can tell from your external, yeah, how and what you're doing to be the way you are can tell me a lot about your interim, which is how you
absolutely.
cross compare that. Hey, if you're going to the gym every single day, working on yourself every single day, you
No,
kind
I'm
of
just
like,
no. I'm not pointing on that as you
I
said. It's
agree
good
with
to
you.
have this addiction, but anyway, any addiction is not a good idea anyway.
But we are all addicted to something. All of us, without exception.
let's just say, put it this way then, okay? Moving around, that's what you're doing in the gym. You're moving around, which makes up for the amount that you're not moving around, which is, if I turn around to a person and say, in the past, they used to migrate kilometers upon kilometers upon kilometers upon kilometers to go and get their the animals and hunt the animals down and sprint and throw. We're
So
not
the
doing
gym
that.
is replacing that, and I
The
think
gym
it's
needs to
important.
replace that.
We have to do something every day. I don't even see it as an addiction. I see it as it's a part of who we are.
Wellness.
It's a correction.
We need to move because we're not moving. We're
Well,
sitting
people
so
are much more aware than before, especially now. Like we're a team of like image, let's say an image, but you are very good. Like we need dietitian because nutrition, I believe, it complements all what we say. So people are much more aware now of having this discipline and how much it affects them and it affects their self-esteem and self-confidence. So I think even younger ones, if you go to the gym, the amount of people, the kids are 13 to 16.
It's true.
It's amazing how much, the image, plus they are aware of the fitness, what they eat, what you shouldn't eat. This is where you see it as a good discipline. This is where I agree with it.
Catherine, I know that you've always been very disciplined with your food. How important would you say that is?
Oh gosh, that's number one, I think. I mean, you can work out every day, but if your
agree.
diet is terrible, you're still not going to look good. So I would say 80% of it is your diet, more so. I mean, like I said, exercise is so important, but if you haven't got your diet right, then it's almost a waste because you're not seeing what you're building underneath.
Yeah.
If you're
And a lot of people forget that, it's like gym, exercise, and then they're not eating properly, that they're depleted in their nutrients.
Exactly.
And,
So
I mean, you obviously know a lot about this as well, Rashid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're half doing it, then you're half putting the effort, really. It's nutrition side of things for me has always been, in the past, it was a means to an end by which I could achieve a good body to further my mating ability, if you want to say that, or dateability. But as time goes on and as you get older, you start to realize it's a form of self-development, and how much you're sticking to nutrition. I feel a little bit lethargic today. I wonder why that is. Am I dehydrated? Did I have enough salt? Okay. Did I have enough carbohydrates? I'm feeling really, really full right now, but I haven't eaten enough. Why that is? So these pertinent questions are turning people inwards, and I think it's really important that people spend that much time thinking about the nutrition as much as they think about moving around, because you can't have one without the other. Fight or flight, feed and breed. Yeah, you have your training side of things, then you have your food and your recovery side of things.
So in the gym for men, what would you say is the most important exercises for men to do, to be consistent with?
Well, it depends on the outcome, really. I mean, you have so many disciplines at the moment. And the main thing is that my rock-solid foundations for men are train your goddamn legs. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, they're all about
What
the
is
upper
this?
body. But
You
sorry to interrupt you, but on a emotional, energetic level,
Yeah.
they build their chest to protect their
peacocking.
heart.
No, peacocking. It's
Yeah.
literally like
Yeah.
a pigeon walks around and puffs its chest.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
peacocking. It's the same thing. That's
Yeah.
why men are addicted to chest day.
Yeah, but
Yeah?
as mind you, it's not about that what we do. It's just an old-fashioned of an approach. When you go to a gym, you don't find everybody someone like her who can talk nutrition, shape, like your posture. They just talk like a gym queen. They have this perception. I mean, there are new ones, like young ones, that they know how to explain it. It's holistic, and they talk everything.
That's
they talk
true.
about nutrition, which is very important.
Yeah.
And they don't want to they just want to take care of you, and they have very much knowledge. But long time ago, it's like you walk into a gym, they portray you this way, and you should follow this way, and they look this way. If you go to any gym, I mean, here, 50% of the trainer are overweighted, which is not the case. In France, you don't see that, honestly.
Well, Well, you know what I mean.
No, I'm talking facts. I mean, you are a professional and you're in the field. I believe it's like, as she said, it's a 360. You have to know what to eat. You have to the right food. Honestly, he has to know about how to teach you how to eat, what you want to project, not legs, not chest.
No,
to be fit. We don't go there to look.
You can
But that's
be very
why personal
generalistic.
trainers come in handy.
Yes.
You know, if you're new to the gym, you don't know.
Many people are very commercial.
Here's the funny thing. Let's be outcome driven here for a second rather than being generalistic, and let's really hone in on exactly the issue. What's the common reason people go to the gym? Have you heard? Just literally spit it off the top of your head.
I think to gain muscle.
To gain muscle.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's the other side of that?
To look good, to attract the opposite sex.
Right. Lose fat, gain
Do
muscle.
you really
right?
think that is? I mean, I do
Yeah,
it for
but
me.
no,
I
but
never
I
think
agree
about
with
going
you.
to the
It's
gym
just you
to
want to feel
attract.
fat.
It's
Yeah,
for
but
me.
we're in the minority.
Let's look
I
at where
think.
we're going to start with this. Like, in other words, if somebody's coming to the gym, what should you train? The largest muscle groups you have, which is
Legs.
what? Your legs.
Yeah. I
This
think
is
they go to the
outcome.
gym to lose weight. A lot of people.
No, I agree with you, but
tend to-
I have
that's-
clients who can have them under my mercy with their hair, with their beauty, with their body, with everything, and I can educate. I cut your hair, I teach you how to do it. I train you, I educate you. It's not about do this, do that, and I leave and I take my 70-pound, whatever. So this is what it should be. This is the way.
For sure. We should.
But don't think, like you say, we have to fill up the gap that people comes to build up muscle. It's not true. You have to educate them. Even if they come to this is the case, she might see that there is some problem with their body, with their neck. So it's about education. It's not about.
But it's a slender line. Here's where we kind of go drift into it a little bit deeper, where we're going, right, okay, as a personal trainer, what's it like to be a personal trainer? Yeah, what's it like to be a personal trainer? It's very, very time consuming. It's very time consuming.
And energy draining.
And I do
Yeah.
not have half an hour to take you through absolutely everything. Time, because they're exchanging their time for money. If somebody wanted a simple answer, it's very, very easy to do.
No, but Ashir, I'm pointing on something which is very important. In our field, your field, any service that taking care of the well-being, it's always you should educate the client, no matter what you do. Even if you are a doctor, you should explain, and people has to hold their things and has to improve themselves, not to dictate or tell them.
But isn't that a given? Isn't that what we should? I mean, that is that's what we're doing, is educating people.
No, but so many times when you go to the gym, the conception of a gym is like muscles. It's not true. It's well-being, it's full, it's nutrition, it's being surrounded with nice people.
I'm a very
and even if you have a misconception, even when you come to the salon, it's not because you come to the salon to look the most beautiful one and I keep bombarding you with compliments. No, you're coming here to take care of yourself, and I would listen to you, and we do something, we create a relation, and we improve things and educate you how to do things, not to impose and not to, you want to look sexy? This is the way you look sexy.
But that's a side effect.
Yeah, that's a side effect. 100%. I disagree.
I think
agree
it's
with
most
you.
of the time, I do. Everybody wants to look sexy, but I'm telling you, at the specialist, then most of the time, it's not about education here. And everywhere, it's becoming better, I'm sure. Your field, my field, nutrition.
But that's the practicality side of things. I think you're thinking very ideologically and idealistically about it. In an ideal world, yes, I would sit you down and do a seminar.
No, this is the way it should be. If you come to my salon, I cut your hair, I should teach you how you blow dry your hair. For me, it's the same.
If I have 8,000 members in my gym, I'm not going to go to
we're not discussing the gym dynamism here. We're talking about we as a specialist, you are a specialist, she as a specialist. She would never do something without going to blood test, and see what she should eat, what she shouldn't eat,
So
and
what's
the program.
your point, Fadi? What's
My
your
point is the education, whether it's in the gym, in the salon, everywhere you go, and you're in a service field, you have to tell the client what to do and how explain how to they
That's what's happening with personal trainers. That's what they do.
Not most of the time. Most of the time no, not most of the time.
I think that's a very.
Well, they should be.
I think that's
They should be. If they're not, they should be.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. This is my point.
Okay.
It's more about education rather than say, you want muscle, we gain muscle this way. And
Yeah, I mean, it's like in my profession, you have to teach people how to look after themselves. You can't make them codependent on you where they're coming to you for years.
That's my point, and
You
that's
have
what
to
you see a
teach
lot
them
here.
How to, understand themselves on a deeper level, how to train their body, how to do their blood work, how to work on their hormones.
It's very
how
holistic.
To do their hair.
It's not about me doing it.
I mean, if you're a professional and you're really passionate about your job, that is the way you're gonna work with your clients.
Yeah, I mean, So, I mean, bringing it back down full square to kind of like the essential question, which was, what exercises would you recommend to somebody who came over to you? It'd be outcome orientated.
Yeah.
But whether it was gaining muscle tissue or losing body fat, which is the common consensus, whether it was running, it requires the usage of your legs. So I would recommend them, right, okay, the first thing that you need to do is work on rock solid foundations.
It's funny because legs and glutes are my favourite exercise, but for men,
It should be theirs.
Why is that? Is it because it's harder?
No, because they can't stand pain. Yeah, they can't stand the pain of their legs hurting and them walking around, and it hurts their ego. They don't like the idea of being in pain and being visibly in pain. Let's just strip it right back. No, I don't like it. Why? It hurts too much. That is the common answer.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And the thing is, though, females, you guys are very, very gifted because you produce more of the hormone relaxin. So it means that your hips are naturally more
And
supple
more
than
so
men.
during pregnancy, they're not normal or outside of pregnancy.
They're far more
Maybe-
flexible than men's.
Than men,
Than
yeah.
men's, because you produce more relaxin. Yeah, which means that at the very, very least, you have like, because hips is like, it has to be more, your hip structure is different from men.
Yeah.
So your ability to do movements efficiently, which require your legs, are far better, pound for pound, and tensile strength for tensile strength than men's.
Which comes into my mind, cellulite. Men don't have cellulite.
That's a hormonal thing as well.
Yeah.
though.
So, Catherine, what do you think's the best? I mean, there's so many creams on the market, all these gimmicks, they don't really work. I mean, I've been in aesthetics for 25 years, and I can tell you, I have never come across a cream that really works on cellulite. I think the best ones are the ones that heat the skin, because then it stimulates the fat cells
Yeah.
a bit. Is there anything that you've come across?
Look, no, I think it's diet.
Diet, yeah.
Diet and hormones. So
Yeah.
hormones play a big role. That's why you find that, your younger girls, which, the hormones are flowing, that they seem to have more tendency for cellulite, I would say. But I know I've competed like yourself. And when I competed, I might always have a little bit of cellulite at the back of my legs. But oh my gosh, when I was competition ready, there wasn't a bit on there because I was lean. And you're drinking so much water, which is also very important. I'd always say add electrolytes to your water and drink lots of water. So you're always flushing out toxins from the body as well.
I think water is very underrated. And I think electrolytes, especially in this country, are very helpful because it's hot. We're hot all the time.
Do you not find it funny how like they extract the electrolytes from the water?
How they extract them?
Yeah, they pull it out, so you have 0 sodium water.
Where you get regular water, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
0 sodium
Yeah,
water.
that's
And-
why we
But-
need to add.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is that a good or a bad thing? Because they say sodium gives you water retention.
No,
You
but we need
need
sodium.
it.
We need it.
You need it.
Absolutely need it. Your body's made. If you sweat, it's salty, right?
Yeah.
You need sodium.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of salt on my food, and people will always say to me, before I even taste it, I'll put salt on my food. And,
That's good.
whoever I'm sitting with will always say, Katrina, what are you doing? You've got too much. And I'm like, every time I get tested, I need salt.
Yeah.
So your body knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your body does know. I think if we listen to our bodies a lot more, then it always gives us the answers that we're looking for.
Yeah, but just staying away processed foods. I think processed foods don't help with cellulite as well. So I think just getting back to a clean diet, eating real food that don't have ingredients on, making sure you get, the right amounts of protein, carbohydrates, and fats with every meal. I just think if you just go back to nature, your body would just naturally gravitate to how it's supposed to look.
I think it's also a big difference between men and women, who is that like the rates of protein uptake and absorption rate is far higher, purely because we produce more testosterone. And especially when you reach a certain age of being a female, and you're finding that your hormonal fluctuations are greatly altered, which is always going to be very, very difficult to manage. With a man, the drop-off is much later.
Yeah.
With the females is a lot earlier, which is why females need to jump onto it a lot quicker than men do, which unfortunately they're not with the entire body positivity movement. Yeah, which is, I think, very, very good if you're just like suffering from like, not being able to get to the gym. Yeah. But on the other side of things, it's not healthy.
I agree.
it's not good, and we shouldn't be glamorizing
No,
this. We shouldn't be
100%.
normalizing this.
No.
What does it even mean to have a normal body? Normalize normal bodies. Normalize what 70 to 80% of the world is currently
I
doing.
think social media has really killed us on that front. I mean, the pressure, especially for women to look perfect, when in reality you've got all your filters, you've got all the make you larger, make you bigger. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. So I would like to talk about supplements. Fadi, supplements for the hair. And, you know, how do you treat your hair with treatments and deep conditioning treatments? What would you say are the best to use?
Look, there's a misconception about the hair loss and about what's going on the hair, and people still they have the philosophy, or they have the addiction of oils. Anything happen, put oil on it. The scalp is something, and the hair is something else. So basically, you have to diagnose the scalp first. There is some capilloscope that you can see what's going on, and the phase, because there are 3 phases for the hair, and why you're losing it, and what's the age of the hair. And you should do a formal check, like Katrina said. You do so many checks now. I mean, again, I mentioned it's quite long, from thyroid plus iron plus. And then if there's something missing, you should treat inside, then outside. Hair condition is a different thing. It's related to the pH of the hair. You just test it on the capilloscope. You see if it's porous, if it's chemical. So you apply to fix the pH of the hair, which is the hair, the shaft of the hair. The scalp is something else. So of course you have to do blood test, then see the scalp, then see the condition of the hair, and you start your treatment. But the biggest confusion I would like to mention here: scalp is something, hair is something else. Hair has a age. The hair, the scalp itself, the follicle of the hair has an age, and there's a certain time where, because of hormones, the season, that you have a hair loss. Women and men, nothing to do. It's totally different thing. So basically, just to mention, very important, scalp has nothing to do with the hair itself. Nothing. And we have to avoid, the oil has nothing to do with treating the scalp. Okay. There's special complex and there's special tablets you can take to improve.
I mean, I went through a period where I had underactive thyroid and my hair was falling. So it's the thyroid, folic acid, and vitamin D are
Here we go.
related
and
to
people jump to
hair.
the nearest pharmacy that they want to sell any commercial thing without any education. They keep saying to the client, take this one. And the closer to her heart, not to go to a doctor, she will jump on buying things. And she said, I feel better. It's not you feeling better. It's the cycle where you lose 20%, the amount of the hair, 20%.
And is this at any particular time of the year, or it's different for everybody?
But it's age.
Yeah,
as she
it is
said,
age.
it's age.
Aging.
It's age.
And you have a look when you compare, let's say,
it's
women.
age, it's period, it's so many things to do with the you lose so much blood with you have to take supplies.
And what about treatments, like deep conditioning treatments?
Deep conditioning treatment, as I told you, the pH of the hair, if it's treated, the pH goes lower. You have to make it balanced. So you use cream, condition, a good one, not commercial one again.
Give
special
us
one.
names. What names?
We can mention the Kerastase one. We can mention like Renifertirair. They have a natural oil. They have a small molecule. Any oil that you buy from supermarket, you buy a natural oil, it cannot penetrate the hair. The molecule is so big, it's not treated in the labs. So there's so much misconception on hair treatment. I'm talking about first, scalp treatment is something. You start with your body and your test. Hair shaft, hair treatment, if it's treated or not treated, you don't use any random oil. There is particular conditioner, particular shampoo for each hair.
So you think it's worth spending money on professional products?
Absolutely, but you have to know what is the problem. What is the type of the hair? Is it colored? Is it dry because of the exposure to the sun? If the wrong shampoo because your hair is oily and you're using the wrong shampoo, so it's an approach.
Okay. I mean, me personally, I've been taking supplements since I was in my 20s. I mean, a lot of supplements. And I think it's saved me now that I'm very fit and healthy and I still look good. Catherine, what would you say are the most important supplements for a woman?
Oh gosh, again, I think it depends on the individual. I don't think you can really generalize. Although if I was going to pick some, I would, I think goes across the board, men and women, vitamin D, D3 with K2, A lot of us are low in that. But again, I would test to see where you're at, because you really want to strive to be at optimal level. Also, another supplement which seems to be a lot of people are low in is magnesium. So I would definitely...
Well, they say you need magnesium. It helps absorption of all other minerals.
Yeah, it does. And there's different types of magnesium. So again, it depends on what stage in your life you're at. If you're having problems with sleep, I've started taking one in the evening called magnesium theorate, I think it's called. And apparently this is good for balancing, but a cognitive function. And again, as we're sort of getting older, we want to remain sharp and make sure that our cognitive function is, we're alert, have energy. So magnesium is definitely one on the top there. What else? Creatine. I think creatine is also another important one, for not just for muscle, but for cognitive function again. But again, as I keep stressing, I think it's all about testing. And even when you're young, my daughter's 22 and she started testing already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and even things like testing your gut health. Gut health is so important. So you may find that you have an imbalance in your gut, which will affect so many other areas of your life. It could be something that's stopping you from losing weight. So there's always a reason. Whatever thing you're feeling, anything negative, you've got to ask yourself why. There's got to be an underlying reason as to why you can't lose weight. Why you're irritable, why you're not sleeping, why you have no energy. It's your body's way of telling you that something isn't right. So then it's a matter of, taking the time to, I would find a functional doctor and do testing to find out what is going on with you, and then supplement based on what the outcome of those tests are.
Great. And Rashid, for men, what would you say are some of the most important supplements?
I think one main thing is understanding as a man what the most important things to have in abundance are. Like testosterone levels are massively plummeting in men, and there's been like a steady decline in sperm count.
Yeah, I read an article on that just the other
horrific.
week, that the testosterone in men
Men
is
in their
really
30s.
This is what you're trying to combat. You're trying to combat, like, literally on a biological level, men are no longer turning out to be men. And that's with
Why do you think that is?
I think there's a skewed version of what's going on in society right now, especially with the rise of like empowerment movements, with overcorrections. It's like social communism right now. It's completely like everything has to be equal, and they're like, well, we're not androgynous, we're completely different, so you have to serve your biology, okay, and that is the way it is. I'm sorry, anyone who disagrees with me, you're the bigot against science. So if there's any person who's as backward and in their head as possibly can be, is a person who's not serving the biological norms.
Yeah.
So as a man, testosterone is incredibly important, and equally as important, human growth hormone. So those main proponents of testosterone are going to be your protein intake is massively important for that. Fats are incredibly important for that as well. Not huge amounts of fats like people turning over to red meat, but you just got to make sure that your high density lipids are kept under control. So it goes back to your idea of blood testing for that, and testosterone check.
What do you think of vegetarianism or veganism in the world of exercise and fitness?
I'll say if you switch those sorts of people back into the Stone Age, they won't last.
Yeah. I was vegan for like 10 years.
I was vegan for 1 year as well.
Yeah, and I have to say, I was a really healthy vegan.
You gained weight.
No, I didn't gain weight, but I was, I read late. I didn't eat anything processed. So I was a really, really healthy vegan. Didn't eat processed crap at all, but I got a lot of colds. And what made me change, when I moved here, I started introducing some dairy, but I still wasn't eating meat. And it was in my last competition I did, I had a coach from the States, and he basically said to me, if you don't introduce red meat, I'm not working with you. And it was the best thing I ever did. At first I was like, oh my gosh, but I thought, you know what, maybe I will, because even my iron levels were low as well. And once I started introducing red meat, so that's like 13 years ago, I rarely get a cold. If I get a cold, it's 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't get sick, and I think it's because of the fact that I introduced meat back into my diet. And I'm not saying that's the same across the board. I know some people that maybe they're vegans and it works really well for them, but it didn't work well for me. I found.
I mean, I did go vegetarian for a year, but it didn't serve me. I mean, I think it's also to do with the blood type.
Exactly.
I'm an O positive.
I'm O as well.
And I
Yeah, we
work
need
very
meat.
much on high protein,
Yeah.
low carbohydrate. I know what works for my body.
Yeah.
But then you see these vegans and they're built like, I mean, I watched a documentary on it about all these guys that are ripped to shreds and they're vegans.
You can get lean. You can get lean.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not.
yeah,
But
yeah.
getting big, I'm sorry, you will not get big on the bigger. Or there is no. There's no foundational proof or evidence that as a vegan you're going to be in far better athletic shape. You'll have better overall gut health because the amount of fiber you're taking in, okay? And you'll drop weight faster purely because your absorption rate and your breakdown of vegetables, is far faster than meat. So technically, you're breaking down the food faster and excreting it faster, which means you're in more of a calorie deficit.
Right.
So you have to look a few layers deeper into this sort of stuff. What is perpetuating a person getting leaner on a vegan diet? It's got nothing to do with anything other than the quality of the food in which they're taking and what happens in your body when that's gone in. My back pain went when I was having vegan foods. That was predominantly down to my stomach issues, though. So I felt like an immediate release of gut issues, but that was very temporary. Yeah. So you'll have this kind of like fasting effect of when you fast and you feel good for a period of time. And then what happens is you have that peter off away like...
Oh, quickly, last thing, fasting, water fasting. I have personally fasted since I was in my 20s. I've done juice fasts. I've done vegetable fasts. I've done 10-day colon fasts. I've done a lot. For me personally, it works because I have not very good digestion. Catherine, I know that you kind of disagree with that. What do you say about that?
No, I don't disagree. I've done all the fasting as well. I've done complete water fast where I've had nothing, not even juice.
Okay.
So I've read a lot about intermittent fasting and how it causes autophagy, so it cleans out the cells. So there's definitely something to say about that. But as far as intermittent fasting goes, again, it depends on where you are in your hormone cycle. So it's not so good for younger people because it does disrupt their hormones. I think as you get older, it's more durable. But yeah, there's definitely something to say about intermittent fasting, whether you do that 16 to 8 hours. So yeah, no, I definitely believe in the benefits, but I don't think it's for everyone. But
yes,
it has its place.
It works for me also.
Yeah.
Rashid.
I really like it. I enjoy doing not just intermittent fasting because I'm a firm, according to myself though, that's just me. You know, it depends on person to person really on what you're doing. So for remedy for me, waking up in the morning, the first thing I'd end up thinking about would be work. And then I'd have food just to correct, you know, my adrenaline levels shooting through the roof, and my cortisol production going through the roof. I would feel hungry. But then I realized to get that in check, what I needed to do was eat later on, not massively overload my gut, and don't use it as a corrective measure. So food ended up becoming a corrective measure for me. So just like emotional eating is a corrective measure, same thing. Yeah. So even if it was healthy food, I was using it irresponsibly. So I end up having intermittent fasting in the morning. Water, I feel like it's a nice little reset when my stomach is just not overloaded.
I think
with work.
even 24 hours water fast is good to reset.
It's like you're turning around to a person and saying, could you do with a holiday?
Yeah, just giving you...
Yeah.
And I think with all the toxins, and even though you try and eat healthy, we're not in control of where the food comes from. So I think water fasting is a good way to reset. So last words, Fadi. What do you think is the most important thing a person can do for their image when they want to project to the world who they are?
Of course, image is related so much to your inner, and you have to have as well as a good relationship with someone that you trust, and he can tell you, because so many people, they have either higher or lower thinking of their image. I don't know, some people, they're overestimating or they have a wrong impression of their image or what they project. I think in my field, I'm talking about my experience, you have to build up a relation with someone who knows experience, 20 years and above, and someone that you trust. And whatever you want to project, like you have your coach or psychologist, he's your mirror, he tells you yes or no. And this is where you can build up something about you, but I can tell you and reflect what you're telling me, whether it suits you, doesn't suit you. And of course, that should come from to please yourself, not to please others. This is my main concern.
I mean, I think my suggestion to everybody would to go on a professional photo shoot, because it really,
as I told you, it's a mirror. Again, it's another mirror for yourself. That's a compliment as well.
And then when you feel, I mean, I think beauty is an inside job. When you feel good on the inside, it's projected onto the outside, and that's the face that you show the world. I think when you see a very good-looking person that's not happy on the inside, they become quite unattractive very quickly.
Yeah.
Catherine, what about you? What's the most important thing to you in the way you project yourself to the world?
I think it's having confidence. Having confidence, and I think that kind of comes. I always talk about posture as well. The way we stand when you walk into a room. You know, you want people to sort of notice you walking in. So I always say shoulders back. You know, I've got a dance background, so it's always been an important thing for me. But when I pick up on other people that walk in a room that have great posture, I kind of turn my head, because it just shows confidence, and they just walk in a room and, you know, they look.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And Rashid?
I'd say the biggest thing for me is my image I'm talking entirely subjectively. Yeah. Okay. Now, this may cause waves, so I'm prepared for the backlash.
Go for it.
Physically, if I am in shape, it demonstrates that I am competent. Yeah. And if I'm competent and perceived to be competent and treated as competently, then it also means, by extension, people will take me a little bit more seriously, as well as my presence and what I say. So the first sensory stimulation a person has of you is image.
That's right.
And
you get 3 seconds to judge a person.
That person walked in through the room, their shoulders were back, they have broad shoulders, and they sat down and had, the first thing they think is, right, he's worked on that. Yes, I did.
Amazing. Well, look, thank you all very much for your time on a Sunday, on your day off. I really appreciate it. This is the Dating Chronicles. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will put all their hashtags in the edited video, and you can contact them personally for your own information. And thank you very much. Until next time, see you.